Figured I wanted to tell you the story about my entrepreneurial journey. Because so far everyone knows my criminal story and that pain I went through in the past. But today I kind of figured that there's way more to the story, because that's just the story that led up to this part of my life, right? It's that pain that led me into entrepreneurship. And I don't think a lot of people really get it, truly, when people say burn the boats. Basically, when you go to battle, if you burn the boats, you have no choice. You cannot return. You're forced to face whatever comes, right? I guess Tony Robbins also used this a lot. Burn the boats. When I first started, I wanted to get back my daughter. That was like my main objective. It was necessary for me to create something because it was the only way. And so I just got started.
Hi, I'm Seth. You can call me Thor. I'm probably gonna try to stick to Thor. I'm just so used to be called Seth.
And I was stubborn. I was so stubborn I couldn't give up, because if I did, then I was gonna fail them, not me, right? And that's another point. People say that you need a strong why, that you need to fight for someone bigger than yourself, or something bigger than yourself. And I guess for me, it never got bigger than my daughter, so there was no choice. And I guess if I had a choice, and it wasn't a child that I was in danger of losing, I'm not sure if I would have worked as hard. But through that journey, I've come to realize a lot of things that is not mentioned when people try to be inspirational. Burning the boat sounds cool, but when you do it because you want to show off, as if it's the badass thing to say because you're a hustler, that's that mask I'm talking about all the time. Where people try to be something they're not. See, humankind has been through a lot of shit. And in our time right now, people are getting lazy, like really lazy. We're used to Netflix and we're used to social media. We're used to going down to the store to get food. We're used to doing all these things that just comes as natural to us because it's expected, because that's just how it is, because we're humans, we deserve that, right? And then we just fuck up everything that we touch, some way or another. Talking about the whole religion aspect of us. The hoarding of food, we did it for survival. We had our lot, we had our food. But we were willing to die if people came in to threaten that. We were really willing to kill to keep that safe. And then we started to develop systems to keep that food safe and put people on it. Some people needed all the food, or look after it. It was easier that way. So we developed structures for security and maintenance and management. And then that just grew as we evolved, of course. And today we don't have to do shit. The top percent has more than half of the global economy because it's just been going on like that. So money became this own entity with time. And everyone needed money. Everyone needed to have a lot of money. And then all of a sudden money became the game for a lot of people. The only game. So they disregarded a lot of other stuff that comes natural to get the money. You know, when you have to fight for survival in a society that has evolved into something completely different, where the people don't live like they used to before. People don't live to support each other, and people don't live to get to the next level as a community, I guess. We're driven by money and driven by fear now. And all those people sitting there in depression because they don't like their life. People feeling poor, that's interesting. That has become a completely different perspective for me during this journey. People telling me that they're poor, but they're still able to pay for 2 cars and a house. They're still able to buy a new TV when they need it. Need it. I've come to really respect what I have because I've fought for every single thing I have. I sold my car in pieces in order to pay for bills and food. I prioritized food, so I got a lot of backdrafts. Having to fight for the money, and I'm saying fight, but that is really not the case. When you can sit in a chair in front of the computer, you're not really fighting, you're just using your brain, right? Because there's not a lot of manual labor in this. And I gotta say, I miss that. I guess a lot of entrepreneurs feel like that. I think they work out because they miss that physical aspect of it, and maybe someone does it for the mask, for the whole image thing on social media, but some people do it because they feel drawn to it, because there's something missing, right? Because we've become so fucking lazy. Some people work their asses off and they don't get anything in return, and other people sit there with a computer and they make all the money in the world. It's an interesting time to live in. So I guess I saw that at some level. I saw that people started to make these crazy amounts of money on social media through advertising and marketing and stuff. So in the beginning, of course, I wanted that. So I went into that, bought into a Tai Lopez course, got that first social media agency. You see, that's where I'm stupid almost. Because I felt like I wasn't good enough to sell, to start an agency and all that stuff. You see, I saw how to use the platform, for instance. Like the course was how to use the platform. And I couldn't really vibe with it because it was not authentic. It was just doing a whole lot of scripts and copy-pasted messages and sending that out to people. And then if you wanted to be really effective, then you could just record a video and just put your green screen on there, just say their name so that it felt personal. The ethics and morals of people have gone way down the shitter. And so social media marketing became this trend that everyone did just to get rich, because it was so easy, because so many people needed their services, and so they just went for the low-hanging fruit, right? For those people really in need of a service that could change their life. And so many did not know what they were doing, so they just copy-pasted everything else. But when you're doing that and you're just one of the crowd and everyone is doing that, the only thing that is happening is that poor people are put in a worse position. Because some people have ethics, some people have these values that just don't let them do things that seems unethical. They don't want to just rip off someone because they have a paycheck, maybe even a disability check, to pay for something that you know that they're going to be worse off for, but you're still selling it because it's a sale, it's a quick sale. Can you believe there are actual businesses right now that is making a killing on just contacting people and putting them up on a call with another person? That's it. Appointment setters. They're everywhere, and I fear it's going to be one of those things again. People are going to call people who don't see the game for what it is, and they will talk them into their dreams and sell them something that they know they won't get anything from. The poor person on the other side have no choice, because these salespeople are using psychology to actually trigger your reptilian brain, your impulses, your feelings. So you feel like you have no choice. It makes so much sense, so you just jump into it. When I saw that, I didn't know what to think, because I needed money desperately. But I did not want to just rip people off. So I continued in my way of just trying to create something that had value, that people could see for what it was, not for something that I had to tell them. I didn't want to go out there and say, buy my course, it's going to change your life, without actually proving it first. Ironically, that has kept me back a long time, because I have not been able to go out there and just sell. Even though I know now that what I do is of value. People keep telling me that they get value, and still I cannot fucking see it. I don't know why. I used to blame that having $4 million in debt was the thing that kept me back from actually asking people for money for my services, because that just seemed logical. I had a toxic relationship with money or something, right? And then I saw all of these other people who's just doing things for money, just for the sake of money, just these horrible things, right? And then celebrating that in the Slack channel after, sharing screenshots and bank accounts and all that stuff, just because this is how much money I'm making, this is how much I'm selling to people, and this is what's happening. And you can see the trend. There's a personality there. Not everyone is doing this. When you speak to those people, you pick up on what their true God is, what they really care about in life. They don't see it. But more often than not, people are starting to get depressed on the top, and people don't get why. Although they have known why all along. It's just become a habit. Making money and talking to people and doing all these things in a framework, in a psychology way to get people to say yes. This is what I'm talking about with the whole algorithmic reality, because when you get into this, you see another world. And I'm not sure I like that world. I'm truly not sure if I like that world where everything is about money and people are just walking over corpses to get it. because there are people out there who needs help and they don't know who to trust because there's so much shit out there. There's a very interesting marketing strategy that I seem to love the most, because I've been through a lot of things, just testing what I could do in order to get people to see that I actually wanted to help them. I could not pay for paid social media advertising, but I could go in and try to find the people I could help. So I started to go into groups and I started to see where these people hang out. And in that process, I needed to learn more. So I got into groups that is about what I did so that I can see what others are doing. And then all of a sudden, my entire Facebook is just that. That's it. There's nothing more. I just see sales, and I just see people talking about sales, about how to marketing to other marketers. That's all I see. So I have to be really aware when I'm using these platforms, because I have to really think where to go, right? I need to think, where could I actually add value to the people that I could add value for, and how could I do that? So I started to share my story, and I got better at sharing stories. And I found some amazing people. I've talked to a lot of amazing people. And I met amazing friends. And we've started something amazing. But I'm still not able to sell because I don't trust my own value. And how weird is that? Everyone is talking about it all the time. You're seeing it all the time. Like, how can I sell? How can I do this? And everyone says, you need to trust yourself. You need to be trusting your own value of what you want to do. And if you're doing it in a morally ethical way, morally ethical, I don't know if that's a way to say it, but if you're doing it in a good way from your heart, trying to serve, there shouldn't be a problem. But then you're stuck in the loop because you're trying to build the thing that you've learned how to build while you've been on this journey, while trying to get people in to help them, trying to figure it all out as you go, literally building the fucking plane in the air. And by doing that for a long time, having that neutral feedback loop where nothing is happening, I guess you get into that stasis. You start to think, why? And then you start to focus on that, and then that becomes a habit, and then all of a sudden you're just stuck in that. Through these things, you have to like think in a way that you might not have thought before. You have to all of a sudden be aware of all these things that you're thinking, and then you have to figure out how you can organize that. How can you keep focus? And so I had learned that. And then I got more into meditation because now it was a necessity. Now it wasn't just something I did for a habit or just to find calm. It was something that I had to do because that's the only place I could find peace. That's the only place I could find some control. And I'm not like trying to control everything. I'm just, when I'm feeling like I have done so much, and there hasn't been any real results from that, in that way that I really despise the most, in the monetary way, you get fatigued. You get so mentally fatigued. But you learn some tricks. I guess that's the thing. Everyone is on their part of the journey, right? And if you find people with a good heart trying to do something that is going to benefit some people, then it's simply about helping other people who's not where you are now, but where you were 5 years ago. Simply just pointing out the course because you've been there, you stepped on that shard, you stepped on that nail, hit your balls on that horse, you learn a lot along the way, and you can see a lot of these people. And that's one thing. I'm not going to say that the entire industry is just toxic, but sometimes you get over these people and you see that they had the same story. They fought to get where they are, and they are super successful in an ethical way where they're actually giving back to give back. Serving people again. It's weird. When you talk to so many people, you see all these classes almost. Some of these classes have very narrow mindsets. They think about the money, and then whatever it takes to learn to get the money. But they don't see that if they just didn't have that much hatred or uncertainty or fear for the unknown, for other people, for other cultures, for other religions, for other thoughts, that we can actually achieve something a lot bigger than just what we have now. I mean, we are so advanced. So why should it be so hard to just see things as a personal opinion and not take offense of what other people think? If people could just talk to each other and just have these conversations, that's not going to end up in basically throwing away a lifetime of friendship because all of a sudden someone had a different thought than you. I've heard these stories. People getting into fights because they have a different opinion than someone else. That's why I'm saying we are so comfortable, because after going through all this stuff, I don't see the point. Like, what is the point of going out there and attacking other people just because of how they look or how they talk or how they act or think or do things or believe in? What is the point? Talking to people and they are talking about their problems and the weather. Talking about when they can get the vaccine to get over the sea and buy a fucking cheap vodka at a tax-free. Literal conversations that I've been sitting next to and having the pleasure of overhearing. People saying that they're poor. That's a very interesting topic that I have seen so many times lately. Like, people saying they don't have a lot of money. And then you see what they do. And they're perfect piece of society, a lot of these people. Doing what they're told. Following all the rules. And thinking everything is okay. There's nothing to worry about. Not seeing everything that's happening in our world right now. There's something big happening on every continent. And it has an implication on our human survivability. I'm not talking about conspiracy theories either. Some people might think that this is just someone sitting there and thinking about conspiracy theories, but no, it's like, just watch the news, see what's happening. Right now, how many questions are there? How many answers are there? There's so many sides of the same story and nobody knows what to believe. Just think about the implications of just that alone. That you feel like you can't trust people anymore. That you feel like you can't trust what's being shown on the news. The thing that has been feeding you all these years. And that people are going into debt to rent a car to show off on social media. Getting into depression because they don't have as many likes as they wanted on the profile picture on Facebook. It's an interesting time, huh? And we went from trying to survive, we went from trying to be alive, creative. I know what I built is worth it. Deep down I know, I believe, I live and die for it. I fight for it. Of course I know it's worth something. We got visitors. Hallais! Ja, de politiet. Oh, hallais! Okay, so where was I? I'm at that point, right? Where everything seems to be happening at once, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that in an ethical way and building this thing, right? And you know, I talked about the fact that I do this because of my children, because of my family. The people that interrupted me in the recording just now was from the police and the State Department for Foreign Immigration. How insane is that? How insane is that? I've been feeling this weird off feeling. And so I'm sitting here and I'm talking about an entrepreneurial story for the first time, and all of a sudden the cops, the actual organ of the Department of Justice that is responsible for throwing my family out of the country, is standing on my property. That's insane. I went up there and I tried to greet them as best I could, and I broke down. The feelings came over me and I couldn't hold it. There was something happening inside of me. When I saw these people, something dislodged and I just cried. Like, hi! What the fuck? And I went in to get her and she was shaking. She was like literally shaking. She couldn't control it. That's the fear I'm talking about. That's what we have been basically surviving for, or trying to survive. Something clicked. Oof. I mean, we're not breaking the law in any way. We're actually trying to make it better. And the story so far is nothing but love. So when I explained the story, they were dumbfounded. I mean, they didn't know what to think. The fire went out in the meantime, so now it's actually quite cold. I told them my story. And I think they felt it. And it's time now to kind of share my story so that maybe other people who think that this whole game is about showing off a different mask than your true authentic self, maybe those people will get a heads up or see that they have to provide value because there are other people who's actually fighting for something that is real. And I'm not saying that you should stop because you should give them a fair chance. No, I'm saying that because there are real people out there, they're gonna win over the fake and they're gonna die in the water. Because there's no room for them. They will be a commodity. There will be people who's walking around in the dark not knowing what to do because they only focused on money. Oh. You know? It's just a matter of time. I mean, the world is changing. Ooh, you might be instant gratified. Holy crap. You might go for the instant gratification now, but if you keep on doing that, you're gonna fail hard because times they are shifting. Yeah. We're coming. The people who made their mess into their message. We're coming as the greatest tribe of cosmocentric Vikings the world has ever seen. And that's not hard because, I mean, how many cosmocentric Vikings are there? So if you have an army of 3, you're basically on a global scale, the biggest one. But I know there are more people out there who are cosmocentric. They just don't know it, but they feel it. And I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you. You might be thinking that you're wrong. You might be thinking that you're alone. You might be thinking that you're meant to not succeed, or that nobody understands you, and that you're the black sheep that nobody really listens to because you did something different. Who don't want to listen to other people's bullshit, but live in your own authentic truth. Oh. I used to be really adept at handling the cold. But that's a habit I stopped for some reason. Cold showers, they did amazing for handling the cold. Today my body is not that used to it, so I need to get back to that. I need to get back into the whole testing myself again. You know, I kind of look forward to those walks from town center up to the office. It's like 7 or 8 miles. It enables me to push myself a little bit until I can start to really test my limits with the body and everything else that we are capable of. It's a journey, and it's like falling in love with the journey, right? Appreciating what you have and really living in the now, valuing your time, creating that bigger, better, brighter future for yourself instead of waiting for others to hand it over to you. And do so in service, when you're helping people transcend their bridges, or building the bridge for them because they need guidance. Just don't ask me about the whole cold stuff just yet. I'm not really into that game as I used to be, so just give me a few months. But it's amazing. We want to teach people how to forge the legacy. How fucking cool is that? The FML challenge, Forge My Legacy. It's almost like owning your future, but it's more than that. It's like taking your essence and then instead of just knowing how to sell it, because I felt like, to be fair, it felt like a lot of selling. There was a lot of stories, but there was not a lot of tactics, and so it was kind of the old spiel where you sell the dream and this is what you can get with this product, and then you get the product, but it seems like there was actually something different that you needed to address, and that it wasn't just about the marketing, but finding your own true, authentic self, true to your core, and being aligned with everything you do. And having the universe answer you in crazy ways, like getting the State Department on visitation while you're creating the story that you have been putting off for so long, for instance. Or getting rich, getting Think and Grow Rich, handed in my lap in southern Norway by a dude that would never buy an English book, and never a book like that. There's signs all over the place if your eyes are open to see them. And then everything that's happened, I just have to be trusting in myself and just continue this journey and just know that whatever I do will lead to success, because how can't it? I'm only helping people. I just need to say, this should actually cost a little money if you don't mind. You know? Yeah, I have to step a little bit into that whole salesmanship, but I'm trying to do it in a good way. I mean, I finally found my prices. I'm gonna raise those prices though. I feel like I'm still in survival mode. I feel like I'm still trying to, you know, lower my value just to get in some bucks, but I'm not really feeling it. I know what you're meaning when you say, like, don't undervalue yourself, because you're actually gonna start to see the consequences of doing that. And it's not cool. You need to trust your abilities. If you're good at something and people are saying that you're good at something, you should definitely go into that something and just develop it. See what you can do with it, and then just take these other skills that you need along the way as you build the plane in the air. It's that easy. You just need to take down your pants and crawl barefoot through hell and mud and fire and pain to get to your goal. It's that easy. It's not going to be that hard for everyone, of course. I've just said that I'm just too ethical. I'm just too nice, you know, and it's not in a good way. It's where you're so nice, you're actually ruining yourself, and that's not a good thing. That's a stupid thing. And I know that, of course. But then again, who can really say that they've been really, really poor? There are some amazing souls out there who went through the real shit, who was poor and homeless and was in prison and faced all these things. And that's why they're there today. And that I respect to the bone. I think that was a good update. I think this has been a very eventful night, and the fact that the State Department was here was just, it's still mind-boggling to me. I still haven't calmed down for that, I think. But it was a nice synchronicity. It could not have happened on a better time, so take chances, go into the unknown. And I'm hoping to see you on the other side. Take care of your freaking family.